Hey guys, on today's episode, we're doing a versus, okay? We're gonna smoke ribs on the Southern Pride 500 here at headquarters, and Rus Jones brought his pit barrel cooker. We're gonna see which ribs come out the best. We've got special guests today, Rus Jones from Smoky Ribs, Jack from Jaxx Drinkwater. Let's do this.
Smokehouse Bayou, Smokehouse Bayou, you ain't never had it so good. Smokehouse Bayou.
Man, we're super excited to have Rus Jones. His son Derek right there is his cameraman. He's behind the scenes. Those guys put a phenomenal YouTube channel together. I'm going to put a link in the description below to their YouTube channel. It's Rus Jones, Smoky Ribs. Look, this man can cook anything. He has taught me a tremendous amount, and I promise you, if you go to his YouTube channel, you'll learn something yourself. He is very talented, and he's a very thorough teacher. And right here, he's teaching us how to make this full spare rib rack into a St. Louis style. And what he did there is he just located the tallest bone or the longest bone in the rack on that fattest end, and he cuts between the bone and the cartilage there, and then he just squares it off just like that. And so now you've got a nice uniform rack of ribs there, and then he goes to the thinnest end and he'll find that first bone and just make that cut there where it's just where, you know, the bones start becoming uniform. And there you have a beautiful uniform rack, spare St. Louis style rack of ribs. And the next thing he's going to do is get that membrane off of the back there so his seasoning takes like he wants it to. And he's just going to make a small cut there at the end, and then he's going to use a paper towel to grab that and just pull that membrane off.
And I like to remove it for the simple fact it allows your seasonings to get into your meat more. I mean, the ribs aren't that thick to begin with, and it allows smoke penetration, and it's just too much of a barrier. It's best to get rid of it. That's my opinion. All that means the rectangular are squared up, they're trimmed nice. They're mainly used in competition because of that very reason, you know.
All right, Rus has got the ribs trimmed up. Now it's time to season them. All right, guys, this is the premise of today's video. We're doing 2 racks of ribs. We're seasoning them the same way. One's going on the Southern Pride 500 and one's going on the pit barrel cooker. So we'll turn it over to Rus, let him show us how he's going to season these today.
All right, I'm just going to use mustard, yellow mustard as a binder, and we're just going to put a line right down here. Line right down here. I'll take my left hand, just rub all this in. And I did change gloves for anybody that's wondering.
Now, Rus, when you do the mustard like this, will you taste that?
No, you absolutely will not, even though it looks like that's a lot of mustard. But I will say this, you can't taste mustard per se, but people that has eaten my ribs, the ones that had the mustard, they always like them better. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
But there is vinegar in mustard, so that kind of helps your seasonings to penetrate more than probably what they normally would. And also vinegar helps tenderize.
Right.
And some believe that the mustard actually helps formation of the bark. Now, I can't prove that. That's just things that I've heard about it. But I do use mustard a lot. Sometimes I don't use a binder at all, because, you know, if you put a seasoning on here, it will begin to sweat, and that kind of becomes its own binder.
Right.
But I like the flavor profile with the mustard. Like I said, you can't taste mustard, but it does something. So we're just going to take our rub. I'm using, this is Blue Hog's Sweet and Savory. I don't know if you can see that or not. I've never used this rub, so hey, we're fixing to find out.
Awesome. Now, when you do ribs at home, do you season them and then go straight to the smoker with it, or do you typically let them sit for a while?
What I do is I'm going to season these. We'll probably go ahead and prep our other ribs and get them ready as well, because everything's going to go on at the same time.
Right.
But I'll get all the ribs ready, then I'll go out there and get my smokers ready. By the time it's ready to go, these would have set long enough.
Gotcha.
And they'll start sweating out.
Gotcha.
So, not going to bore you with the rest of this. I'm just going to apply seasoning on front and back on these. And then the other ribs, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do mine. And like I said, if you want to see how Brian does his, if you want to see how Jaxx does his, then you'll have to go over there and check their videos out.
Yeah.
And that's one way of getting y'all over there, right?
Awesome.
All right.
All right, guys, look, you saw Rus Jones. He seasoned the ribs that we're going to put on the Southern Pride and the pit barrel the same way as each other, so we can make that taste comparison. But now we're each doing our own individual ribs, and you can go to Rus's channel and watch the ribs that he does, and then Jax's channel and see the ribs that he does. The ribs that we're going to do today here at Smokehouse Bayou are going to be the same type of ribs that we serve here at Fayard's, flavor-wise, okay? He's already trimmed them down to St. Louis style. We typically serve them as just a spare rib, so we don't typically trim them down to St. Louis, but we season them this way. Not surprisingly, if you're going to buy ribs from me here at Fayard's, it's going to have our Bayou dust on it. That's our flavor profile. We're sweet heat, but I do a little bit different when I'm back here in the kitchen. We're going to use the Bayou dust, but I like to cut it with a little bit of brown sugar, okay? So I've got these containers here, and I'm just going to put the brown sugar in there, and then I'm going to put some Bayou dust in there, about the same amount, and just mix these up. Now, I don't use a binder like like mustard or anything. I just go ahead and put these right on the ribs. But look, I'm not scared to use a lot of seasoning, okay? Because we believe in flavor here. Now this is a small little rack of ribs, especially after it's been trimmed like that. You can see how thin that is, or how narrow these are. But boy, they're cut real nice. This is the kind of cut you would see in a barbecue competition. If you're not familiar with that, they'll St. Louis style them like this. Oh boy, what a pretty color. That Bayou dust provides a beautiful color for ribs. And look, today we're going to cook on hickory, okay? Because that's what Rus showed up with. That's what he normally smokes with. I smoke with hickory, pecan, cherry wood, sometimes a mixture of each, just whatever I want to do. But today we're using hickory, so we can keep everything the same, and we can compare this Southern Pride with that pit barrel. So anyway, these are the ribs we're going to do in addition to the Versus ribs. So hang around. Whoo, the Versus ribs are both seasoned. They've been sitting a little while. Look how pretty. And while Jack is filming for his channel, showing how he's going to season his individual ribs, Rus and I are going to put the first rack on the pit barrel cooker and then get a rack going on that old Southern Pride.
The ribs that are identical. Go ahead and put my hook in there. Get my lid off. And so you know, I'm smoking with a hickory chunks. Now Jaxx will be putting some ribs on here momentarily.
All right. So he picked his rack of ribs. So now we're gonna put this rack on the Southern Pride. Let's go. All right, the ribs are loaded. Here's the recap.
All right, so we just put those ribs in on the Southern Pride, and we're smoking at, what you got it smoking at?
We're gonna smoke those ribs at 225.
Okay, so what kind of wood are you using?
Me and Rus decided to use hickory today.
All right, so we're using hickory in the pit barrel?
Hickory. I love hickory on pork. That's my favorite, personal favorite. That's why I usually go that route. And he said 225 pit barrel cooker. There is no settings on this. This is a true set it and forget it. Typically they run at 275. They can spike occasionally if you open your lid too much, and they can spike up to 3, even 325. Drum smokers are actually more of a hot and fast type cooker, not necessarily a low and slow. I call it a medium ground, somewhere between hot, fast, and low and slow. Does a fantastic job usually though.
I'm excited to eat some ribs, guys.
Me too. I can't wait.
man, everybody that's involved in barbecue knows that there's a lot of time while the smoker's going, and it's a great time to just sit around with friends and chew the fat and just talk about what's going on. And sometimes you'll get some fantastic tips like this one from Rus Jones.
I always thought that when you're smoking something, you want your wood to be like smoldering.
Right.
But you just put me in check on that situation. So tell me what the deal is.
Okay, here's the deal. Like on my offset smoker, I have got to make sure I have an active fire going at all times. Now you control the heat of that smoker by the size of the fire, that in your vents. But the last thing you want is that fire to go out, because then you've got a smoldering smoke, which will create an acrid smoke, and you will definitely taste it on your food. If you got a fire lit, that produces a clean smoke, a real thin bluish smoke, and that is what puts a good smoke flavor on your food. You don't want anything smoldering. You don't want to see a heavy, dense smoke. You want that light smoke always. The only way you're going to achieve that is that wood on fire.
That's a good tip, man.
All right, very good.
That's a real good tip. Right now, that is one thing with the Southern Pride that is a benefit, is it's got that propane assist.
Right.
So you put the wood in there, propane kicks on, gets the wood lit.
Yep.
The wood maintains temp, but eventually it's going to lose temp.
Exactly.
And then that propane kicks back on, and I think it's about a 5-degree window that it has.
Oh, that ain't bad.
You know, so
Yeah.
that, you know.
I did a little video clip for a guy here recently, and he was wanting to, actually it was 5 of us YouTubers, and he was wanting to know what our biggest mistakes were. And the subject I picked was obsessing over temperature. You know, when I first started doing this years ago, man, if that pit wasn't running exactly where I wanted it, I was freaking out. I'm adjusting stuff, you know, next thing you know, I got it all out of whack. And what I have discovered over time is that any kind of pit, I would say the pit that comes closest to holding a true temp constantly all the way through is a Kamado style cooker. You can usually dial those in, it'll hold right there for 12, 16 hours without budging, man. But most any other smoker is going to fluctuate. And offset being notorious for temperature swings because you're having to feed logs every so often.
Right.
You know, it don't have the propane assist to help maintain that temperature. So you can swing 25 degrees either way. Pellet smokers are notorious for swings. And what I found out is quit obsessing over it, because it still turns out just fine.
Yeah.
You know, even with the temperature swings, your end result is always good, you know.
Well, I mean, and there's other factors. I mean, you saw it with the ribs.
Yeah.
Some of the ribs are this thin, some of them are this.
Sure.
Everything, any little thing changes everything.
Oh yeah.
You know.
And I've been asked that question a million times. How long it take you to cook? You know, I said I don't cook by time. I cook with ribs. And believe it or not, I do go by temperature. You can probe that with an instant read around 204 degrees. Your ribs are done.
Yeah.
But that ain't the only telltale sign. That meat pulling off the bones, the flex, the bend. There's a couple of things you can go through.
Right.
And
he's smelling them ribs.
yeah, I heard that. But yeah, I don't cook by time. Then I said, well, I'm just wanting a ballpark. I'm like, okay, well, about this or about that, you know. But don't go by that. If it's chicken or whatever, you go by temperature, because you got to get it to a minimum.
Right.
You know, if it's brisket, you can check your temp, but I go by probing. Tell me when I'm tender.
Man, on the brisket,
you know?
when I open the doors on this smoker,
Yeah.
and that brisket goes, it's got this jiggle to
Jello,
it.
man.
You know,
Yeah.
I said,
It's ready.
we're getting close
That's
right
right.
here.
Yeah. That's right. And I found that if you're going to go by temperature on a brisket, 210 is like a magic number with me, but that depends on the quality or the grade of brisket. If you've got a prime with a lot of fat in it, that thing could be fall apart tender at under 210. So you need to probe it always. You can use that temperature as a guideline when you get close, or like you said, that jello effect, you know. But I probe to tell me when I'm done. Same thing with them ribs. I'll probe them here when I think they're getting close.
Right.
I'll temp them, but I'll also probe it.
Yeah.
You know, they'll tell you how tender they are. You want it close to falling off the bone, and this ain't competition ribs. So, you know, a lot of people want them falling off the bone. I don't want them quite that.
Yeah.
Because to me, they turn to mush. They start losing texture at that point.
Well, you're going to
you
get that swing up in temp
Right.
after you take them off.
Sure, you got that
especially if you're
carryover. Yeah, that's true with any meat.
Yeah, I prefer cooking them the way we cook them than competition. To me,
Right.
I mean, competition.
You made a good
barbecue
point
is-
about that competition in a video when you were talking about competition. I can't remember exactly what you said, but you were like, you know, you like when people are telling you how good your stuff
Yeah.
is here, but you go to a competition and then you got 3 judges telling you what a job you did.
how bad your barbecue is, and then
Right.
when you're vendoring, they're handing you a $20 bill
Right.
telling you how good your barbecue is. So
Exactly.
you pick the one you want, you
Right.
know. But you know, and I'm not knocking competition or whatever, but like some competitions, I don't even know if I'll put this in the video, okay? But I remember one time we had a guy back here, and he was kind of a condescending kind of guy, okay? And he says, Shayla's about to kick him out. But in this conversation, he's talking about how he's from Memphis, you know, and they're the
certified
best and all this
judge.
kind of stuff. And he was a judge, he's a barbecue judge and all
Oh,
this.
he was.
And I'm like, man, a lot of times people that
No,
judge
right.
barbecue, they learn how to judge the day before. Okay, so that guy that they learned from,
Yeah.
they're just duplicating what he is.
Exactly.
Right? And so to me, the greatest competition in barbecue is putting your stuff out there for the general public.
That's right.
And if you can make a living doing barbecue, then you're winning the competition.
Exactly.
You know, you might not get the trophy.
And we
but
talked
you-
about
you
that
know,
earlier. Competition, ribs or competition, anything is always heavily rubbed and seasoned,
Right.
because that judge is going to take one bite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you had to sit there and eat a meal out of that, to me it would be a little overkill. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And big difference between competition and what we
Sure.
really eat. You know, what we really like.
Yeah.
You know, I think overdoing rubs.
You know,
is one of 'em.
and we've been in different competitions, and you know, people that are around them will tell you it's a flavor competition, but it's
Yeah.
also a beauty competition.
Oh yeah.
Beauty pageant.
It
You know,
is.
it's presentation, it's color, it's a lot of different things. Which God bless it. I mean, it's fun. You know, we
Right.
love doing these competitions,
Yeah.
but just day in day out eating.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be a little bit different.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they use pit barrel cookers in competitions, but most competition guys, they'll straighten them ribs up and they'll push them together.
yeah,
That
yeah.
way they cook the way they're laying.
Right.
I've seen them curl up like that on that pit barrel cooker, but they sure eat good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's your difference.
That's it. Now this is the rack of ribs. Look how little that rack is. This is a rack of ribs that we're doing like the ones at Fayard's. I know. And this is the ribs that are seasoned like Rus's in the pit barrel cooker. And I don't know if Jack wants me. That's the ribs that he just moved in. Y'all got all this? Y'all keeping up with all these ribs, all these different types of ribs right here? And Jack wanted me to treat these like I'm treating my other ones. So anyway, we're spritzing again. They've been a temp for 2 hours, but as you can see, that little old bitty rack of ribs, I don't think this is going to be a 4-hour cook. So, and we're only cooking at 225. But we're enjoying each other's company out there, hanging out on New Year's 2020. So stay tuned. Let's see how this ends up. All right, let's check on Rus real quick.
Tell you what, I think I'm gonna wrap these. That thing must be hot right now.
Must be.
Well, the pit barrel cooker's running at a higher temp than the Southern Pride, so Rus is wrapping his ribs, and in the meantime, Jack's doing a little basting.
Hope we got enough room for 3 racks doing this. All right, that's Jack Daniels. Those might have to go on his pit, Jack.
Okay.
All right, that's Jack Daniels. The one on the right is competition. Good. All right, I have already removed the ribs that we're doing a comparison between the pit barrel cooker and the Southern Pride. So now I'm removing my Jack Daniel Glaze ribs. These got a nice color to them.
All right, guys, look, we've had these ribs on for about 3.5 hours. They're not the thickest ribs, so come over here and check this out. I think they're going to be close to temp. This is the ribs that we're using to compare against the pit barrel cooker. So let's see if we can't get a read a temp on that. All right, so we're at 200, 201. These babies are ready to come on out and rest. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull them out. Rus has pulled his off the pit barrel cooker already. His cooked at a higher temp, and so he finished a little bit quicker than we did. So anyway, we're gonna take these out and let them rest a little bit. Then we're gonna do a taste test. Hey guys, look, the pit barrel cooker's ribs are ready, and the Southern Pride ribs are ready. Okay, I think you finished up a little quicker
A little bit,
on the pit barrel,
which is to be expected. It runs a little bit hotter. You
Yeah,
know, it's just the nature of the pit barrel.
I got you. So this is kind of what we're going to do. Rus and I are going to take the ribs, cut them up, put them on platters here. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to do a blind taste test. And look, this is not me competing against Rus. This
Nope.
is just us trying to show you a comparison between a real high dollar smoker like a Southern Pride, okay, and then a residential
Right.
smoker like a pit barrel.
$299
Yeah,
to
yeah.
your house.
And show you that you can get good quality barbecue on both, but there's certainly advantages and disadvantages of both.
Oh
So,
yeah, absolutely.
anyway.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're going to cut these up, and then we'll come back and let everybody do the taste test. Here's a good shot of what the ribs look like. Everybody's hungry. They're ready to get this taste test going.
Just grab a rib, huh?
Well, I tell you what, these are our taste testers. So y'all jump in there and just eat one of each and
Ladies
see what
first.
you
I'm
think,
gonna
you
go
know.
with a little rib there.
We'll get one of these right here.
Alright, I'll go with this side too.
That's good stuff.
That's really good.
That rub's good.
Alright, I'm just gonna set my little deal right here and go for this one.
I'm gonna get this little one.
This one here is good. It's got a little dry taste, but it's good.
Okay, I got my decision.
Wow.
So, can I go ahead and tell you what my verdict is? All right, this one wins on taste and texture. I prefer this side over that side. This one wins on aesthetics. I like the way that bone sticks out.
It did draw that back.
Yeah,
didn't it?
this one, the texture on this is a little, I don't know, I want to say maybe, I'm not sure, maybe a little mushier, but I don't think that's, I think it's just the rib cut.
Yeah.
Were these ribs from the same place?
They're from the same company. All 4 racks were, and from the same pig. I doubt it. So.
Well, on my side, I'm going to choose this rib overall. This rib has a softer taste. It's got a more moisture, you know, into it. It's juicier. This is a good rib. I love the way this rib looks. This rib's a little bit tougher, and it's a little bit drier. But overall, I'm not going to turn either one of these ribs down. But I have to say this is the winner for me.
Same.
I'm gonna say the same. I like this one better. That it's more tender than that one. However, they're both really good. And as much as I love the smoke flavor, that one's got a little bit too much smoke to me. It's really a lot
Pronounced.
stronger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I choose this one too.
We're not going to turn none of them down, though.
Can we continue
Yep.
eating while y'all tell us?
Well, we inform everybody whose is whose.
They're fantastic ribs.
They're really
Can I
good.
guess whose is whose?
Yeah,
I'm going to say this is the pit barrel,
it is.
and this is the southern.
That's
Pride.
right.
Yeah.
I would have to agree.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
it.
I'd have to agree. I can
Hey.
tell you, y'all did a good job. Whoever
Yeah.
cooked them, they're delicious.
Hey, thank y'all for doing the taste testing for us, you know.
Yeah.
I know it was
Appreciate
a
that.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Twisted our
It was
arm.
tough. I mean, if you will, get that knife out of my back.
All right, man. Let's do it.
You can rib any rib.
Any rib. They got a little moisture, but they're not as moist as what I'd like to see them. If you squeeze on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now the rub we used today was Blues barbecue.
Blues barbecue.
I taste a little chipotle or something in there. It's really, it's real good.
I like it. It's good.
Yeah, I like that too. All right. Of course. That's a pretty color.
Yeah, man.
It's a real pretty color, isn't it?
Awesome. These are more tender. That one's very tender.
Well,
You know, these ribs were disintegrating on one end,
right.
and I just knew that. Plus, no, that was the other set of ribs that was up to 204. I never did probe these for temperature, but that could have went longer for sure.
Well, I think Jack pointed out you can tell a difference in the bark of these, and I think he's right. Man.
I like the texture. Yeah.
Yep. Well, man.
I wouldn't kick either one of them out of bed, that's for sure. But
Right.
But definitely, those are juicier and more tender.
Yeah.
The flavor-wise, to me, is pretty close. There's not much difference.
Right.
But definitely like the texture and tenderness on that better,
Yep.
and the moistness.
So basically, what Russ is saying is everybody rush out and buy a Southern Pride. Is that what you're saying?
Go get it.
Go
man.
write the check, man. Go do it.
At about 19,000, and how much with the 300 for the pit barrel?
Yeah.
You'll have one.
That's right, man. You can do this taste test yourself. You know.
All right, man.
Hey, we got some more ribs to try though, because Jack did a rack,
Yep.
a couple racks, and you and I both did a rack.
There's two racks behind you. There's one rack over there. So I say let's cut into that.
Hey, y'all hang around. We're gonna taste test these
There you go.
other ones too.
All right. So what we got here? We got the Jack Daniel's Glaze. This is
Smokehouse Bayou.
Smokehouse
Yeah,
Bayou.
Bayou dust. I
This
should
is
say.
the same seasoning and all like Brian does here for Fayard.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
All right. And what are these?
Nashville Hot, and then we got the Monkey Gland
Glaze.
Glaze. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know the story behind that name?
We'll have to talk about that later.
Okay.
All I know is it's South African, and yeah, I don't know the. I've been mispronouncing that name all day. We won't
Right.
talk about that either. But I just want to say, don't forget to go by Russ's channel and also Brian's at Smokehouse Bayou. They did that head-to-head on the Southern Pride and the Pit Barrel Cooker, and it was a clear winner. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and also y'all make sure you please go over there to Brian and Jax's channels. Check them out. You'll also be seeing their version of the same video here.
Yeah.
And we have talked and we have decided that these videos will go live Sunday at noon.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
So all three videos will be up at the same time.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right, let's dig in.
Hey man, what a way to start a new year. I mean,
Man.
look at
Pork-
a cutting board full of ribs.
Poor
I mean,
Kevin. All right, I'm gonna have to try one of these before they get too cold.
I've been
Yeah.
looking at those.
I tell you
suckers,
what,
too.
I'm very disappointed in any of these ribs where I bought them at. You know, look how thin.
Yeah,
these
they're
are.
paper thin.
Yeah.
You got to be real careful when you're cooking ribs this thin to not toughen them up.
Those are good. Right, not a lot of meat on them though, huh?
No, but what's there is pretty darn good.
All right.
These
Good
are
flavor.
tender.
No doubt.
All right, and then I'm going with yours. This is the Smokehouse Bayou rib, right?
It is. Look at that.
Let me get me a little small one here.
Those are good.
Look, I got a big man, a good friend of mine over here, and he's just staring and smacking while he's watching us. We're gonna hand one off camera there to
Yeah, those are
just
good.
Al. The Smokehouse Bayou.
Yep.
I've never had Smokehouse Bayou ribs before.
Now your Texas hot,
Nashville Hot, yeah.
they were done on the pit barrel cooker, and these were done on the Southern Pride, right?
Yeah, Nashville Hot was done on Pit Barrel Cooker.
Okay,
And the other, and I did have that other rack of ribs, but they were kind of the same as the Smokehouse Bayou.
gotcha.
Oh, those are spicy. I like that.
I'm not gonna eat all that. As good as it is, that's got a little kick to it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going
Texas hot.
monkey
Monkey glands.
The monkey glands
And this is gonna be spicy.
Nashville hot. It's not really, you know, kind of toned down, I think, from the get-go, from the beginning.
Man, tender.
Real
These are
tender.
awesome.
All right, I may be biased,
It's really
Good or
good.
good?
Mm-hmm.
but I think I like the Nashville hot.
That's
Better
what I'm
than,
eating right here.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
I think I like the
Why
Nashville
is that
hot.
rib so much more tender than the other ones that was in the same pit barrel at the same time?
Well, he took one out. Remember, he did take one out
Yeah, he
and wrapped it.
That
up.
was well, no, you took this out, wrapped it, and put it in here. That's right.
Yeah, not
That's
the
right.
Nashville hot,
Just that one.
this one.
That finished off in the pit barrel cooler all the way.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, very tender.
You gotta try that one. Shayla's having to patiently wait because her and Derek, because they're running the cameras.
Can you stand any spicy?
A little, but how spicy
Man, that's
is
That
it?
wouldn't.
I don't know.
I think the texture of those ribs are the best of all of them.
They are, man. They were good.
Real tender.
That's a hard decision on which one. I know it's not a competition, but they're all pretty
Well,
dang good. But I'm going
One thing
with
you
Nashville
got,
hot.
one thing you got going for you right here is the ribs that you got are a lot thicker.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, he brought separate ribs. That might have a lot to do with
I'm sure it
why
does. Yeah.
they're more tender too.
Mhm.
Better cut.
just a better cut of rib.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mention
Out
the
of your
name
two, I
of where
like the
I ordered
Nashville hot
these ribs.
ribs.
I've been
Me
better
too.
off going
These are
to
not
Walmart
bad,
and
but I
buying
like
them.
them. Yeah.
All right. So the Nashville hot over the.
I think that's the best out of all of them.
Well, what about between the Nashville, the best out of all?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing over the.
Pretty much out of anything I've eaten tonight.
Was really good.
Absolutely. Really good.
That means a lot.
Now I'm
coming
getting
from
that
you
kick.
guys.
I'm getting that
Really?
kick I'm looking for too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming along, man.
Excellent, man.
I like that.
You'll have to give me the recipe for that sauce. That's good.
Gotcha. Got you covered.
Heck yeah.
That's your, you can't, that's yours? The Nashville hot?
Yes.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
I mean, hot.
Yeah.
Not sweet, hot.
Hot.
Really
Good. Is it too
Really
spicy for?
Good. Shayla's gonna find it a little spicy because it
On the back
comes
end.
on.
On the
you
back
know?
end.
It does
creeps
tone
up
down.
in.
When I tasted it yesterday when I made it,
Oh, it's good.
yeah, it was real hot, and I was like, ooh, man. But
Mhm.
it toned down as it cooked.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Man, that was
Absolutely.
delicious.
Well,
Hey, thank y'all for coming
oh man.
to International Headquarters. And
You're
hanging out with
welcome.
us
We've been
today.
talking about doing this for a while, and we finally decided on a day. I'm off from work been off work for what, a week and a half now, and so we finally found a day that we could do this.
Yeah.
This happens to be January the 1st,
Right.
first day of 2020. But had a good time. I love doing stuff like that. We'll have to do it again.
Absolutely.
I hope all of y'all enjoyed the video. And from Smoky Ribs,
Jaxx Drinkwater.
Smokehouse Bayou.
till next time.
All right, guys. Nashville hot ribs and Jack Daniel's ribs. And what are you calling your ribs?
Ours is just our Bayou dust.
Any of them.
Do it.